I am switching gears a little bit. I'm doing a mom-related video. I just recorded a video for Kid 90, this documentary that Soleil Moon Frye put out on Hulu. And I do a lot of like reviews like that, movie reviews, documentary reviews, music reviews, reaction videos, trailer reaction videos. But I'm also a mom. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter named Vivian Jane. And I have a lot of mom-related videos that I've been wanting to do, but I've kind of been in the thick of it. In the thick of it, I mean momhood, motherhood. And it's kind of just been overwhelming, but I feel like it's now or never for me to do these videos because it's the time. She's still little, she's still a baby, and I want to remember these things. And this video going to be about baby names. I remember when I was trying to pick a name, there were a lot of YouTube videos about names that we liked but we did not decide on, and so I think I'm gonna do that. I have a lot of names that I went through. I went through so many names, and we wound up going with a name that was really one of the first names that we liked. So I chose Vivian Jane because it just to me sounded like an old Hollywood actress name. Vivian Jane Matthews. I can just imagine, you know, a black and white screen, you know, like I Love Lucy or Bewitched, you know, one of those actresses. Wasn't Ethel's name in real life Vivian Vance. So that's really, and Danny, my husband, Danny, he really liked that name too. Before I get into all the names, I will just kind of talk about like what the final contenders were. So it wound up being between Vivian Jane, Roxy Jane, and Alexandra Jane. So my middle name is Alexandra. I was so overwhelmed with choosing baby names that I almost was just like, I'm gonna name her after me and make it easy. With my name, my first name is Heather, my middle name is Alexandra. My channel name is Alexandra Matthews, I go by my middle name. But I really thought about naming her after me. But then I thought, you know, do I want to do that? Which would be cool. People name their kids after themselves all the time. But I thought, you know, but I really like the idea of just finding an original name that's her own. And with that, Alexandra Jane was out of the running, but I thought Roxy Jane and Vivian Jane, they both sounded very vintage names. Roxy Jane just sounds like a fun person, you know? It sounds like somebody you would want to be friends with. It sounds like the kid in kindergarten that everybody would be friends with and would just always have a good time. And knowing her personality now, it would have fit her. She was born blonde and she's now like strawberry blonde, but everybody pretty much, the consensus is they see red hair. And depending on the light, sometimes it'll look more like blondish red and sometimes it'll look red. So she has this beautiful hair color. And Roxy Jane, we wouldn't have gone wrong if we named her Roxy Jane, but Vivian Jane just sounded classy. It sounded versatile because Vivian Jane sounds very grown up. And I call her Vivian when I'm annoyed with whatever toddler thing she's doing. I also call her Viv or Vivi. I can see myself calling her just V, you know, maybe when she's older. So I just felt like she could grow with that name. So that's what those were the final contenders, and that is how we made our decision. But there were a lot of names to go through, and I'll have boy and girl names on this list just because when I started this list, I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. So there's a lot of names. If there's any, you know, kind of like backstory or special thoughts on a name, I'll share those. Otherwise, I'll just go through them. They're not in any particular theme. You know, I'll see videos about nature-themed names or old Hollywood-themed names or popular names of the 2000s, whatever. These are in no particular order. They're just the order that I wrote them down in. Because I can't be bothered to organize them any other way, basically. The first one on the list is Jane, which wound up obviously being her middle name. Quinn, which kind of makes me think of Quinn from Daria, which I loved. I love that MTV adult cartoon, Daria. Lily. And actually, my birth flower is Lily of the Valley, I think it's called. Because I'm born in May, I'm a Taurus. Fiona. which Fiona makes me think of Fiona Apple. And then I had a coworker who named her daughter Fiona. She called her Fifi. Phoebe, which I obviously think of Phoebe from Friends or Phoebe from Charmed, both of which I loved. Lucy. Lucy, that was another one that was really close. Like that, I mean, it wasn't in the final 3 ultimately, but it was, and oh my God, with her being a redhead, oh my God, how perfect with Lucy Jane Matthews, a little redheaded blue-eyed girl. So many missed opportunities. I mean, I still love her name. I do. But like Roxy would have fit her, Lucy, Anne. And the reason I like Anne is for its simplicity. So I can just imagine Anne Matthews. It sounds like a writer's name, and I think it is. Charlie, I thought was just so cute. You know, one of those unisex names. Alice, that's another one that we talked about a lot. You know, we love all these really simple, old-fashioned names. That's a common theme with us. Those are the kind of names that we can actually agree on. There are some names on here that we didn't agree on. And he was very decisive. He's like, yes, no, 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 no. Holly, which I just think of, you know, I don't know. I think of Holly Bush. It's pretty. Kind of makes you think of Christmas, sort of. Penny, which very, very simple. Clara. That reminds me of, there was this Nutcracker cartoon movie that I remember watching when I was a kid. I think her name was Clara. Carmen. Although that makes you think of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, at least if you're from my generation. Carmen, I just thought was cool. Different name. Molly. Molly was another one. Molly Matthews, little Molly Matthews, Molly Jane Matthews. Like that was one that was really close. Wendy. Of course you think of Peter Pan. Kat. Just Kat. K-A-T. Morgan. Oh, and so I wrote Alexandra Jane. So Alexandra Jane, I feel like we could have had some cool nicknames for her, like AJ would have been cool. Or Lex or Lexi, I thought would be really cool nicknames. That one, it's so hard. It's so hard coming down to what you're going to name your kid because there's so many great options that could fit. You know, it's just so hard to pick a single first and middle name. Jade. Cora. Danny was like a no on Cora. Bridget. I thought Bridget was a cool name. Think of Bridget Bardot. Rowan. And then Asher. I actually have a girl that I went to school with that had a boy the same, like 3 weeks after I had my daughter, and she named him Asher. She liked, her daughter's name was Ember, so it was like Ember and Asher, like ash fire kind of names, which is really cute. Isla. Ariel. Another one that would have been perfect for a redheaded little girl. Zoe. Amy. Which I feel like Amy is a really simple name. I wouldn't have named her after Amy Lee, but like she's my favorite singer. Amira, Violet, River. I also like nature-inspired names. I think nature-inspired names are very pretty. Sawyer, and that could have been for a boy or a girl. Kieran, Phoenix, Summer, Lola, Kara, Lennon, Coco, spelled C-O-C-O. That's David Arquette and Courtney Cox's daughter's name is Coco. Do I have Lennox? I think I already said Lennox. Lila, spelled L-I-L-A or L-I-L-A-H. Lydia, which makes me think of Beetlejuice. Also, I used to go to this salon or spa in Florida, and the owner's name was Lydia. And I think she actually had a kid around the same time I did too. I follow her on social media still. Maggie, which kind of makes you think of Maggie Gyllenhaal, but I don't know. I just think Maggie sounds like a cute name. Mallory. Mallory was a name, I think, of one of the Babysitters Club members. Mia, Mina, spelled M-E-E-N-A or M-I-N-A. Mila, like Mila Kunis, but not necessarily after her. Minka, Mira, Moira, isn't that like the mom's name in Hook? Mora, Sabrina, because Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and also Sabrina the movie, but not, was that Audrey Hepburn? The 90s version with, I can't remember the name of the woman who played Sabrina in that, but Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, I had a huge crush on when I was a kid. Good job. I wear a night guard now and have been for like several weeks, and it has not helped the popping at all. Whitney, which sounds very 80s. I mean, wasn't there like a doll, like a Barbie doll named Whitney? It was like Barbie and Whitney. Claire, and that makes me think of Claire Danes. Dawn. Dawn was one I was really stuck on for a while because I just feel like it's this beautiful visual. Also, there was a character in Babysitters Club named Dawn. Demi. Obviously you think of Demi Moore and Demi Lovato, but I just thought it was a cool name. Danica, and that makes me think of Danica McKellar, who played Winnie in The Wonder Years. Dylan, and that's like a unisex name, spelled D-I-L-L-O-N or D-Y-L-A-N. Dixie, not after, it's so funny, these names were before TikTok happened. So Charlie from earlier and Dixie, these little teenage girls that I don't care about in the slightest, were not known yet. So this was 2019, remember? Late 2018, early 2019. It was 2019, because I found out I was pregnant in December of 2018. Vivi was born in August 2019. But Dixie makes me think of Dixie Carter, who I loved as Julie Sugar Baker from Designing Women. I mean, I admired her. I loved how she just didn't take any shit. Dolly, obviously think of Dolly Parton. I just thought it was a cute name. Drea, Elle, Etta, which Etta makes me think of Fringe because the two that get together, the two title characters that get together have a daughter and they name her Etta. Gabby, always it makes me think of Gabby Hoffman, who was really big in the 90s. I don't know if she does anything anymore, but she was a 90s child actress. Halle, spelled H-A-L-L-E. Jewel. Jewel I was stuck on for a while too. That makes me think of the singer Jewel. Rain. Dahlia. Laura, spelled L-O-R-A. Nell. Willa. Cleo, which to my husband's response was, call me now. he's like, I will not name my daughter Cleo because all I'll do is think of that 90s TV psychic. Hallie, spelled H-A-L-L-E-Y. And then I think I have Claire on here again because it's like a different spelling. You could spell it C-L-A-I-R or C-L-A-I-R-E. Nev. Nev Campbell. Reagan, which Reagan, I automatically think of Reagan from The Exorcist, the little girl who gets possessed. Abby, just such a simple, cute name. Kind of reminds me of Anne. Abby. Abby Matthews, very cute. Allie, A-L-Y. Courtney, which not after Kourtney Kardashian. I like the Kardashians, but spelled with a C. And that kind of reminds me of like Whitney. Courtney, Whitney, I think that those were names from the 80s that were pretty big. Belle, B-E-L-L-E. Of course, Beauty and the Beast is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. I think that came out in around 92, and I was like in first grade or something like that. Damien. I'm a fan of The Omen, you know, all those classic horror movies. Yeah, I would have named my son Damien, yeah. Killian. Reed. I apparently got on a boy name kick. Did I say Reed already? Nolan. Rhett. R-H-E-T-T. Yes, Rhett. Gray. Dimitri. Roman. Vera. Getting back into the girls' names. Ruby. would have been another perfect name for a redheaded little girl. Lux, which I remember there being a show with the girl who played the love interest of the alien from Roswell. She was on a show where she played a young mother, and like she named her daughter Lux because she had blonde hair. And my daughter was a blonde at first. Robin, because you know, another like nature bird imagery. Liesel from Sound of Music. Mira, I feel like I have duplicates on here. Winter, I liked that one early on. And winter's not my favorite season. But when I think of winter, I just think of like, if I think of winter as a name for a little girl, I just imagine like just this beautiful quiet snowfall, and it just creates a beautiful image to me. Danny was not a fan. Callie, spelled Kali, Reese. Calvin, which makes me think of Calvin from Back to the Future, because you know, she finds him knocked out and sees Calvin in his underwear and thinks his name is Calvin instead of Calvin Klein. Wyatt, Reed, Cooper, Sutton, Hadley, Delilah, Graham, Daphne, such a cute name, Kira, Cole. Again, these are boy and girl names mixed in together. I just kind of wrote them down as I found them. Kate, spelled C-A-T-E. Cindy, which I think of the youngest Brady Bunch family member. Yep, Courtney's on here again. Echo. There was a show called Dollhouse that was made by Joss Whedon, who is now very scandalous and in the news for bad things. But Echo was the title character's name, and I just thought it was cool and different. Eliza, who I think of Eliza Dushku, who played Echo. Freya, Luna, Gemma, Gia, Rhiannon, after the Fleetwood Mac song, Ivy, Lainey, Lara, Lara, and Soleil. Soleil after Soleil Moon Frye, but Soleil means sun or moon or something, right? I can't remember which it is. I think it means sun, just because they both start with an S. Carly, wait. Yeah, this is a duplicate. Carly, Kate. Is this a duplicate? Annie. Yeah, this is a duplicate. Okay, that's weird. Oh, that's because I screenshotted these and Soleil was on the end of this one. Okay, gotcha. Brooke, Blair, Katie, spelled C-A-D-I-E, Callie, C-A-L-L-Y, Mara, Mina. Some of these are duplicates, I swear I've said them already. Piper is one I've liked for a really long time. Like back when Day and I first got together and we talked about if we had kids, what would our kids' names be? Piper was up there. Piper was also one of the witches from Charmed. Not the new Charmed. The original Charmed. The only Charmed that matters. Sky, Suzy, spelled S-U-Z-Y, Tori, Greta. Greta kind of reminds me of like an old Hollywood, like Greta Garbo. But also Greta is a character from Nightmare on Elm Street 5 who gets killed off. Which Nightmare on Elm Street 5 is like my second favorite movie ever, and in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Veda, Winnie, which I do think of Winnie from the Wonder Years, also Winnie the Pooh, and Odette. We're almost done. Aubrey, spelled A-U-B-R-E-E or A-U-B-R-E-Y. Azra, B, spelled B-E-A, which makes me think of B. Arthur, who is my favorite Golden Girl who played Dorothy. Bailey, B-A-I-L-E-E, Isabel, which I feel like everybody names their daughter Isabel. Lila, Jude, Callie spelled Kallie or Callie or Cali. Carly spelled Karlie or Carly. Libby, which makes me think of Libby from that character from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, some of the earlier seasons. I think I already had Lila on there. Lila, Lyla or Lilah. Lana, Lainey. Bonnie, spelled Bonnie or Bonny. And then our last little bit, Nina, Polly, I think I said Veda already, Samantha. Samantha is a really, I think, common name like in the 80s too. Addison, which makes me think of Addison Shepherd from Grey's Anatomy and Private Practice. Margot, spelled Margot or Margeaux. Eliza, which I already have. Abigail, Hadley, Delaney. I think there was a 90s actress called Delaney. Maggie, Emmy, spelled Emmy or Emme. I think I already said Haley and Allie. So that'll do it. This video is like 25 minutes long. I had a lot of names, but obviously I'm not stopping you. Feel free to use any of these names and let me know if you like any of these names, if you wind up naming your kid any of these names. They're kind of all over the place, but I love videos like this. Like I said, even still, I'm not planning on having any more children. We are one and done. But yeah, let me know if you named your kid anything off this list or if you plan to. And like this video if you liked it. If you want to see more mom videos, I still need to record one from my postpartum experience and other things. So I've got a lot of ideas, mom-related ideas. And subscribe and turn on notifications to see more videos from me in the future. So I will see you in the next video.